Now, today marked the 26th straight day that the people were locked out of the People's House because of sequestration, or so we're told. Now, White House tours remain closed to average Americans, you know, the people that pay the bills. And it appears that the doors of the White House, they did remain wide open to the rich and famous friends of the Obamas. And yet another clear sign that the president and Mrs. Obama are out of touch with reality and totally tone deaf. The first couple has announced that they plan to host a star-studded concert later this month. Now, Memphis Soul will feature entertainers like Al Green and Queen Latifah, Cyndi Lauper, and Justin Timberlake. Now, it clearly goes without saying that this is a waste of your money and a slap in the face to you, the taxpayers, especially in light of the president and his administration's fear-mongering just in recent weeks. Remember this.
Federal prosecutors will have to close cases and let criminals go. Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks, which means more delays at airports across the country. Thousands of teachers and educators will be laid off. Tens of thousands of parents will have to scramble to find child care for their kids. So these cuts are not smart, they are not fair, they will hurt our economy, they will add hundreds of thousands of Americans to the unemployment rolls. This is not an abstraction. People will lose their jobs.
Let me tell you, if sequester happens, it is going to badly damage the readiness of the United States of America.
It's going to be very painful for the flying public.
We are going to weaken the United States.
I'm not here to scare people.
Sequestration is a dangerous and irrational policy.
This is just completely irresponsible.
These are job-killing cuts.
Sequestration equals unemployment.
As many as 40,000 teachers could lose their job.
We expect that they will change their schedules and cancel flights.
This is going to hurt a lot of moms and dads in our region.
Everyone thinks this is bad things are going to happen.
Here with reaction, syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor Michelle Malkin. Let's see, between the Bidens and Obamas, 8 vacations since the beginning of the year. 8. I can't go back 8 years and think that I've had, well, I probably one a year, maybe 1.5.
Yeah.
And now another party, and then we have a party coming for Michelle's big birthday, Beyonce and Adele. They're going to be singing at the White House. This place is a rockin' place. I mean, except for we the people that pay the bills. We don't get to go.
That's true. Well, I hope America is paying close attention to the party animals in chief and the vice party animal in chief and their spouses. I mean, on the one hand, one side of their mouth is singing, "It's the end of the world as we know it," to the rest of the world about sequestration. Meanwhile, at 1600 Pennsylvania, it's party rockin' in the White House tonight. Woohoo! We've got Justin Timberlake and Alabama Shakes coming. And I have to think that this is not just a slap in the face to taxpayers, but particularly a slap in the face to all of the government workers out there who are very concerned about their jobs. And I have friends in the military. I've got friends at DHS, at CIA, at the Border Patrol who are worried about putting food on the table while this guy's got the full feast going on. Seems like every week.
Well, what happened to the fair share stuff and skin in the game stuff, and it's our patriotic duty stuff, and we got to spread the wealth around stuff? How about we spread the wealth around so kids can go to the White House and get a tour? I mean, all of this costs money. Now you could say, okay, well, they're performing for free, but those dinners that they're hosting, it's security, just that alone is going to cost enough. Why are they so tone deaf? I mean, is it that they have a let the American people eat cake? Do they just feel entitled to this? I mean, did the Obamas, did they live like this before they became the president and first lady? I had no indication. They had to have a Resco deal to get their house, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, they've always been able to have it both ways and to talk out of both sides of their mouths and to live one way while they preach thrift and fiscal responsibility to everyone else. And I'd have to think that finally, at some point, especially among independent-minded people who were duped the first time around, that they realized that they were being sold a bill of goods, and there really has to be a limit, an upper limit to how much they can take in terms of the hypocrisy and sanctimony of both the president and the First Lady.
I don't know. I mean, they seem to get away with it, except for a few exceptions. Few of us conservatives are actually watching the rhetoric versus the reality. All right, I got another question to ask you.
Sure.
Rutgers basketball coach. And this is interesting to me. A guy named Mike Rice, he just got let go after this video revealed him throwing the basketball at the players and being kind of rough on him, pushing him around a little bit. You can see him there and actually hitting some of the kids. He's very intense. You know, so get in the game. You can see a video there where he's actually pushing one of the players. There's one instance where he throws a ball at him there, and you know, he's really. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, all right, I don't like it. He kicked one player there, but on the other hand, you know what? I kind of like old-fashioned discipline. And on the other hand, I mean, have we become that politically incorrect? These are adults. They don't want to play for that team. They can leave.
Yeah. Well, sports is a rough world, and I have to say honestly that I've never been a huge fan of basketball. It's interesting how we only pay attention to these conflagrations when it comes to hate speech. If the left-wing media makes a big fuss and kick over these particular incidents. I mean, the problem isn't so much that there are consequences for hate speech, and I think there should be. The problem is that the left is so very, very, very selective about when it chooses to manufacture outrage and when it doesn't.
But isn't he trying to do something, because sports is so competitive today, that he's trying to bring the best out of them, put discipline in that team, raise their game, force them to focus, force them to push them to become champions, and that takes intensity. It's like a drill sergeant. Are we going to now fire drill sergeants because they get in the face of cadets? Is that next on the list of politically incorrect things we can't do?
Yeah. Well, I certainly agree that political correctness has run amok. I mean, I've been talking about it since I was in college myself, and I think that all of these sports coaches now need to be made aware that they are under a huge microscope. Anybody with a cell phone or a camera can tape these kinds of things now. But I think that there should be scrutiny of the people who blow the whistle on these kind of things, and question is about when they raise it and when they demand swift action. And when they don't.
If you don't want to play for that coach anymore, then leave. You don't have to stay there. You know, but I can understand. Stop hitting them maybe, but I like the intensity. I like the drive. I like that he's pushing those kids and that he runs a tight ship. Maybe we need a little more discipline in society, and maybe we don't have to be a bunch of wimps for the rest of our lives. My father hit me with a belt. I turned out okay, except for the minds of liberals.
Same here. Yeah, that's right.
Did you ever get hit? You didn't deserve it. I deserved it.
Oh, I certainly did.
You did.
And with more than a belt.
And you turned out okay.
I'm sure the left thinks that we are warped minds.
Yeah, that's probably true. But that's a good thing. If they liked me, I'd feel that things are really bad. Michelle, thank you.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, I'm much better at administering spankings now than receiving them.
Yeah, I'm wimp at giving them. That's my problem. All right. Coming up next.